Hi, hello, my name is Gomer Joseph. I hope you've all been having a great day so far. Welcome back to another True Crime Tuesdays video. If you are new, I welcome you. Today, I'll be discussing a requested case of the unsolved disappearance of Bryce Laspisa. This was one of the most complicated cases and one of the most confusing missing persons cases which I have ever researched. So many complicated events occurred leading to Bryce's disappearance. And honestly, it seems difficult to pinpoint like the starting ground of where to even look for Bryce. Now, I encourage you all to do your own research with this case and not just look at my video for all of the information. Here we go. Bryce Laspisa was born on April 30th of 1994 in Illinois to parents Michael and Karen Laspisa. Bryce grew up in a tight-knit family, and he was known to be kind, charming, charismatic, artistic, talented, cheerful. He was one who stood out from the crowd and brought comfort to those around him. In 2012, Bryce would attend Sierra College in Rocklin, California, and he majored in graphic and industrial design. When Bryce was a freshman, that year went really well. He did pretty good in school. He made a lot of friends, and he was dating this girl named Kim. But during sophomore year, there seemed to have been this drastic change in Bryce. Bryce began drinking a lot of alcohol. It was affecting his relationships, and he also began to experiment with substances which were to be made to help him to study more. On August 26th of 2013, he calls his mother Karen to tell her how much he loves her. Later on, for some reason, he decides to break up with Kim and called his mom from Kim's house, informing his mom that he planned to go back home, but Kim had his keys, so he was also asking his mom to convince Kim to give him back his keys. The reason why Kim was withholding these keys was because she stated that Bryce was just becoming erratic. Now, according to Bryce's parents, like, he did seem normal, and they really weren't aware of like the unusual behavior that his friends were talking about. Because days before this happens, according to Bryce's friends, he was acting a bit strange. Their fear was that he was acting like he wanted to end his own life. So he would go on to give away an Xbox and even gave away earrings that were given to him by his mom. Now, for some reason, he felt like Kim was better off without him, and he would go on to tell his friends how much he loved them. The next day, Karen, Bryce's mom, would receive a call stating that Bryce needed assistance on the road as he was in his car, which was a 2003 Toyota Highlander, and he was pretty much stuck in the middle of nowhere. And the reason why he was stuck in the middle of nowhere was because his car ran out of gas. Eventually, his car would be filled up with gas by an employee who worked at the Castro Tire and Truck named Christian. And after the gas was filled up, Bryce was supposed to arrive back home that day at like 3 to like 3:30 p.m. Unfortunately, Bryce would never show up home. Concerned, obviously, Bryce's parents would go on to call the police. Now, the police did find Bryce like 8 miles away from where he pretty much last was. But when the police caught up with Bryce, told him how worried his parents were, and got his parents on the phone, the police stated how reluctant Bryce seemed to speak with his parents. Eventually, Bryce would agree to speak with his parents on the phone and was pretty much telling them that he was just driving around to blow off steam. Christian, the Castro Tire and Truck employee, would catch up with Bryce to go ahead and make sure that everything was okay, and he did notice Bryce driving off. Because Christian saw Bryce driving off, he was pretty certain that Bryce was on his way home. But like I said previously, unfortunately, Bryce never made it home. Bryce would go on to call his parents, telling them that he was going to a resting spot because, he was getting exhausted. And, obviously, if you are exhausted, you should not be driving. Later on, the parents would get a visit from a patrol trooper. He's at the house of Bryce's parents and asks if their car was stolen because he was informing the parents how they found a vehicle near, and I hope I'm saying it right, near Castaic Lake. But the thing was that they found the vehicle, but there was nobody inside of the vehicle. Of course, this worries Bryce's parents, but they're even more worried when they found out that the vehicle was involved in an accident. Now, I'm just gonna assume that the car wasn't involved in an accident with another car. I would assume that the car hit some sort of inanimate object. Because a patrol trooper would go on to inform Bryce's parents, Karen and Michael, about the damage and how there was blood found inside of the car. The thing is that all of Bryce's belongings were in the car, but Bryce was nowhere to be found. Of course, the police are involved. Bryce's family and friends begin looking for him, but unfortunately, they are just having trouble locating him. Since Bryce is just nowhere to be found, his parents feel like they have no other choice but to hire a private investigator. Now, I don't know if it was a private investigator or the private investigator got somebody, but somebody dove into the lake that was, near the creek where Bryce's car was found. But when, there was somebody diving into the lake, they didn't find anything. Unfortunately, that's all of the information I could go ahead and find about Bryce's case. Now, if you are watching this video and you have any information at all, please be a snitch. Call 911 or call 949-292-4400. If Bryce is still alive, then he would be like 30 years old right now. I do pray that God would comfort Bryce's family and loved ones. He's been missing for like over 10 years. And I can't even begin to imagine the sort of agony that his loved ones have been feeling as they've been searching and still searching for Bryce to this day. I do pray that God would provide them with all of the answers to their questions. The God that I serve, the God of the Bible, is an all-seeing God. He knows exactly what happened to Bryce, and he knows exactly where Bryce is. I thank you all for taking the time in your day to watch this video. If you did like this video, please feel free to hit the like button. If you have any thoughts on this case at all, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you'd like to see more videos from me, please feel free to subscribe and click the bell to be notified about the next video. If there's a certain true crime case that you would like me to cover, go ahead, let me know. I will see y'all for next True Crime Tuesdays, and I will talk to y'all later.